Welcome to my channel. My name is Kate Colley, and I am so excited to talk about body language with you. It's one of my passions. It's something that has become so deeply embedded into my world, both in work and in my personal life and in my own self-awareness. And it's just something that has really, really changed my life to understand the depth that body language can bring, not just with dating, but really with all things. Because body language actually comes from the animal part of you, right? And we forget this all the time that we are animals. We're all animals. Now, we have a very well developed prefrontal cortex as humans that allows us to do things that animals in the wild simply don't do and cannot do, such as applying meaning to absolutely everything, which can cause a lot of secondary suffering. We also, as humans, have the ability to follow an unstable leader. This is not something that a wolf in a wolf tribe has the capacity to do. They're more connected to those animal instincts. We also, as humans, have the capacity to create art and poetry and also lie. And it's interesting because a lot of those just come from the same part of the human brain that has the capacity to modulate, to change some body language, but definitely not all body language. So I don't know. I hope you can tell that I love this subject. I'm so excited to share this with you. I'm going to give you the rundown, the breakdown of everything you need to know about reading body language on a date. And then please know that you can apply the same information to your career, to your business relationships, to your sales, and even, like I said, to your relationship with yourself. Sometimes I catch myself doing this. I will do it right now. That's withheld opinions and keeping something, like almost like swallowing something, holding something back. And I love that, because when I notice that I do that interacting with somebody, it gives me autonomy, it gives me sovereignty, it gives me free will to really understand, oh, was that something that I wanted to share? Am I with a person or in an environment where expressing that vulnerability would feel really good and feel really nourishing to me? Or is that something to bookend and come back to later and explore? Maybe it was something from my subconscious. So let's get started. And please know that this is the tip of the iceberg. If you want more, I do have a free masterclass called Body Language and Face Reading Revealed. And so, yes, I do get into face reading. That's a whole other science that I'm not going to talk about today. But if you like people reading, it is beyond fascinating and weirdly the most useful thing I have ever felt. Side note, random tangent about me. Anytime I don't drink that much, but anytime I have like one drink, my face reading skills go off the charts. Like I start face reading everyone around me, and like I literally can't stop because it's so fun and it's so weirdly accurate. Don't give me a drink because I turn into a little bit of like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs kind of lady. Now back to the scheduled programming. Body language in dating. To really understand body language, we have to look at the nervous system. And as I'm sure you know, that there are two main states of the nervous system. There is rest and digest. This is actually the only state that true confidence can occur in. This is when you're quite relaxed, even like your eyes are more open, you're seeing the bigger picture. One of the best ways I like to explain rest and digest is if you imagine that you're sitting on a beautiful beach and you look off into the distance and you can see everything all at once. And so even though you're not focusing on one particular thing, you notice that there's some birds flying by, that there's a couple walking by, there's somebody surfing out in the ocean. You notice that the sun is up in the right-hand corner of your visual perception. You see the waves coming in, and you're really just so in rest and digest that you're taking in all of that all at once. Now you can imagine if there were to be a threat come at you in that scene, and I'm going to make up something totally unrealistic, but it's a tiger, but tigers and big cats actually have a lot to do with body language. So we're going to go with that example. So you're looking at this scene and a tiger all of a sudden starts lunging at you from the right-hand corner of this visual. You obviously would constrict all of your awareness away from absolutely everything else, and you would tunnel vision on the tiger. And even your body would have an obvious stress response, meaning it would take a blood flow out of your digestive tract. It would push it into your extremities, your hands and your feet and legs and arms, so that you can run really, really fast and potentially even fight the tiger. Why? Because your body loves you and your body prioritizes survival. And so anytime the body views via the five senses a threat, it's going to produce a stress response. And here's where it gets really interesting. Humans are such largely tribal species, meaning we need other people to survive. Think of a baby. Baby gonna die if it doesn't have other people. Okay, we're hardwired this way for connection, to be around other people. That our body will interpret emotional threats to the sense of self in a very similar way that it functions for physical threats to the physical body. The same stress response will occur. Okay. So what does that mean? Threats to the sense of self. A threat to the sense of self could be like, if I view myself as a really good person and somebody attacks that, I'm going to get a stress response. And it's that stress response in our body that influences very heavily our body language, to the point, the more stress there is, the more it influences our body language, to the point that our human brain, where we think we're in control of the time, cannot manage the responses happening from our body. Okay, so this is where it gets even more interesting if you're still following. I feel like I'm trying not to make this technical, but I love this subject and I want you to have all the details. So I'm talking about emotional threats to the sense of self. Now, the interesting thing about humans is that we can also have thoughts in our head that also create a stress response that threaten the sense of self. This is like those repetitive belief systems, that shit that you think of when you're on a date that you don't want to think of, where you go like, oh shit, she's looking at me weird. Oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. Why did I say that? Now she's judging me. That is going to also produce a stress response in your body. Oh my gosh, I had a candle. Do you guys see this smoke? I had a candle come out. Now the smoke is coming into the view. That was kind of cute. I like that. Anyways, the thoughts can also influence our internal state. So anytime you see a shift of body language in your date, what you are seeing quite literally is a shift in her internal state. You are seeing a shift in her nervous system. And like we discussed, it can only shift one of two ways. It can shift to more rest and digestion. That's like sensual, like she's feeling it, she's leaning in, she's excited about what she's talking about. Or it can be contractive body language. And this would be stress. This would be something just happened for her in her body, where all those little parts of her body just sent out a poof of stress. Okay. Now, this is so useful in dating because in order for especially like a first date to go really well, there needs to be that connection. There needs to be those good feelings in both parties. It's not just one or the other. And, it can be awkward for a lot of people, and there can be a lot of social anxiety or dating anxiety. I actually do have another video just on dating anxiety, so I'll post that and somewhere up here that you can check out after this video. And so knowing how to read the other person and also read yourself can help you to really understand what topics should I talk about? What topics should I avoid? How is my date really feeling? And when you're watching her body language, you're watching for two distinct types of body language. And I did already mention this. There's the contractive body language, and then there's the expansive body language. That's really all you need to know for now, but I am going to go into some detail about it. The expansive body language is always a sign that she is feeling connected to you, that she's feeling comfortable in her body, that she is at that beach looking at the full horizon. And some key things to look for her to be in that rest and digest, confident, feeling yummy and good in her body state are anytime she exposes the vulnerable parts of her body. Obviously, this is all subconscious, so she's not going to do it as like a sign. She's not going to like freaking flash you and be like, I'm interested. That's never going to happen. The vulnerable parts of her body. These are, we're going to go back to big cats. These are the parts where big cats could potentially threaten us and kill us. So this is here because this is a vulnerable part of the body, but most especially the neck. Okay. So anytime they do like this, the head tilt is always a sign of nervous system relaxation. Any kind of, this is preening behavior, pulling lint off of the shirt. Preening behavior is like a mating ritual that mammals do. You can watch for all of this, but if she exposes the neck, if she pulls her hair away and she's doing this and she's doing that, it might not be as obvious as this, but you will start to notice it when a woman really opens up. Now, on the other side of that, in terms of contractive, stressful body language, you'll start to see this one everywhere, is if she, especially if she has a necklace, if she starts to play with her necklace, because it's right near this area, which is where big cats go for when they're attacking. And this is the basis of all body language. And so if she starts to touch her neck in like this kind of a way, where she's actually blocking or covering or playing with her necklace, that's a sign that she has left rest and digest. And it doesn't have to be a whole thing, because once you get the hang of this, you'll start to see people go in and out of states all the time. It's like watching a freaking movie. But you don't have to stress out about it. Just kind of take note of, interesting, what were we talking about? Were we talking about her past? Were we talking about her, past dating experiences? Were we talking about her work? Were we talking about food? Were we talking about exercise? Like, I don't know, it could be anything, right? But you want to take note of what happened right before this behavior happened, or this behavior happened, or a leaning back happened. So anytime there's distancing, like I don't have an object in front of me. Here, I have my phone cover. If she takes like her phone and let's say it's over here, and then she places it in front of her and she starts kind of doing this or something. So that is actually two different body language signs. That is blocking behavior, because she's actually trying to put something, again, subconsciously, in between you and her. And if she's doing this with her phone and it's a sort of repetitive, that is self-soothing. You can see it with hands in the lap. Sometimes people will do self-soothing. People can do self-soothing like this. So it's any time that somebody is actually trying to soothe themselves, and no, they are never aware of it. Side note, don't ever point it out. I've tried it. It's like horrible. It makes people really uncomfortable. I don't know why I've tried it so many times, but it has failed every single time. Okay, so that would be blocking. Now, on the converse of that, let's say she has her phone here, and all of a sudden she takes it and she puts it over there, and she leans in and she moves her hair back, and she comes into her eyes. You can see how my eyes are kind of sparkling right now. I'm in it. When that happens, and see, I'm a little bit more loose with my body language, that would be an indication that like whatever you're talking about or doing, keep doing that, because it will cause her to feel good in her body while she's looking at you. And those neurological networks start to build where she associates you with good, pleasurable feelings. And on the other side, anytime she blocks, she distances, she's self-soothing, she's moving away, especially feet, because people are quite familiar subconsciously on how to lie with their face, because we're all socially conditioned to lie with emotional expression, unfortunately. But the farther you get down the body, the more accurate it is. And so if she, like her ventral orientation, like her spinal orientation towards you shifts away, and now she's facing this way, that's a contractive sign. And especially the feet, because that is farthest away from the emotional expression on our face. If her feet start to point away from you or point towards the door, that would be an indication for the date to end. And it might not be you, but it might be. And she might just have somewhere to go. This is like a random tip that I just feel like I need to share with you. Always leave them wanting more, especially on dates. Like sometimes it's easy to get really sucked into, you're feeling good on the date, so you want to keep going and going and going, but having some time boundary around it and leaving them wanting more of you is always a good way to go. Okay, so like I said, if you want more information beyond just this tip of the iceberg, please go ahead and watch my free masterclass. You will absolutely love it. And yes, there's face reading in there as well. And please subscribe to my channel, like this video, share it with others. Bless me with your comments. I would love to hear what you think of this. Thank you so much for being here. I love you. Have a beautiful rest of your day.